Hare Krishna. I am taking this opportunity to share my experience of being as a part of ISKCON. How is it really helping my so-called outside life as well? Well, coming from a Orthodox family where there was a belief of spirituality, there has been a belief of culture, there has been a belief of religion, there has been belief of God. I come to a threshold of getting joined in an interview for a big university like Symbiosis. I initially had started my career in IT, and somewhere I was feeling that education is that platform which will probably give me now opportunity after 8 to 9 years of my industry experience now to impart to the students. And especially in my field of art, it's a very strong requirement where students get to talk to the professionals outside and probably lead from there ahead. And it was at this interview level that the so-called founder of Symbiosis, Dr. Mazumdar, asked me, so I read in your profile there's something to do with ISKCON. So when do you give your time to this organization? So in a very generic manner I said, well sir, I spend my weekends over there. So he was very surprised to know that it is not that I just go to the temple just to pray, but there's something more to it. He was wanting to know what is the reason that I'm giving more than 1 hour there. Like he came to know I go in the morning and I come back in the evening. And what is that temple to do when you're giving more than 8 hours there? And the kind of different activities I shared with him, especially to do with the youth club, actually charmed him, and which made him say, yes, you are in for this job, but then because your profile says you're dealing with the young minds, we want a person who can delve into the minds of the today's crowd and impart them the values as well. And there where I became a very integral part of Symbiosis International University, and I feel it doesn't leave you anywhere. If you're following something sincerely, honestly for your own spiritual advancement, there's no separate method or an effort that you have to do where you can put your spiritual life in your outside world as well. With me, it was always an integral part of it. Whether it came to share with my colleagues, whether it came to share with my faculty members, with my professionals from the art industry, this so-called our spiritual mode of life is very strongly connected with all these things. My connection of spirituality is very interesting when it comes to art, because I have my research in the iconography of Indian art, especially into the sculptures. I have been doing research from several years into sculptures at Ajanta Ellora. And it is this place of Ellora which has beautiful sculptures which have been carved centuries before, almost I guess during the 8th, 10th century, to propagate religion at that moment of time. But the utility force was the legends. The legends transformed from scriptures onto the wall in terms of sculptures and then lead the people of society to a different level. So for me, just because I am connected with ISKCON, I can guide people who come at the caves in a most authentic manner, I feel. Because what I follow, I speak there. So there's no separate preparation that I have to do there. So in that case, my integral part of my spiritual life and my material life, so-called, of my professional life, are very strongly connected with each other. Spiritual life, if you go to see not only in terms of art, it can connect you to any specific occupation you are in. You just have to find out a place. That one thread of spirituality can give place to several beads of your material life to make it complete. And I guess this is what probably it helped me to be a part of education, where I never felt like giving it up. In fact, it was very difficult at the level of my masters, where I should be dropping that or probably going ahead only from my spiritual point of view with my spiritual studies. But spiritual life is not impractical. It was here where my own guru, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, motivated me saying, Parth, you have to complete your masters. You have to take this study ahead, where in the field of education you can use your spiritual values to guide the coming generation. And when I probably talk with the students, it's not a direct language of spirituality, but I guess somewhere it flows in our talk. And it holds the audience, especially today's students, to hold on to listening to you for more than 15 minutes is a big challenge. And I feel this integral part of your following of your spiritual life, it can hold the new minds and new set of hearts by giving them love. There have been a lot of instances where students of these generations get deviated. There are a lot of influences which influence the student from their daily studies. Drinks, smoking, drugs are very, very common words where you find in a campus. At the place where I am teaching, I am being called as a counselor there to counsel on a very personal level. There are specific bodies of counseling in the university as well. But this is my personal experience that students find very easy to communicate with me or open their hearts to me without probably going their names onto those counseling bodies. And they say, sir, it is here where we would like to open our hearts, because we feel we can connect you as a friend and we can trust you. So from that very moment, I started my consultation, even in ISKCON or outside, that I take my one sitting with the child, one sitting with the child and the parent, and one sitting with all of them together. And whatever I share with the child, it's never shared with the parents. So today, what does a new generation need is where a matured mind can see within themselves, help them to lift from there, seek their own values and move ahead. And I think spiritual life gave me a good strength to probably enter in their minds and align their lifestyles, modern lifestyles, in tune with the values, what we feel are correct, and to make their careers successful. Of course, there are a lot of things you can't avoid when it comes to spirituality, but definitely always there's a line marked. And this is a line which helps the students of new generation also to come closer to you. A very interesting experience in my life happened was years back in 2000 when I was teaching at a place called SIDAC at Alandi. I used to take some simple classes on the basis of Bhagavad Gita written by Srila Prabhupada. And all the students used to assemble at that specific one single room of mine, which was very close to the office setup, just for 1 hour and one of the days in a week. After 8 to 10 years in NVCC, I found this student married and come and say to me Hare Krishna, saying, "So it is you who once upon a time, used to take these small classes, and today I am an initiated part of your society." There was no connection with this candidate of mine for last 8-10 years, but something as a seed which was probably been sown at that moment of time, this person took it so seriously to his own spiritual life, and probably maybe not my involvement anywhere, but he sought his own ways and advanced in his spiritual life and finds himself successful. So there where I feel your job, what you're doing outside and what you're doing at temple are very strongly interdependent. There's nothing called as material life outside and spiritual life inside. Everything comes from the Lord and everything is spiritual. Thank you.